everyone, my name is Willow Rose Moondancer. I make videos here on YouTube about Wicca, and I also make blog posts on my website wiccansarewiccan.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have been working on a two-part series about altars. Last week we talked about the generals, like what altars are and like the general things that you can put on them. And today we're going to specifically talk about the reasons why and the uses for the objects, the tools that we put on our altars. So the first tool I want to talk about is the athame. This is mine. That's what it looks like. It's typically used for casting circles. And it is never used to cut anything or harm anything. We're not going to talk about it today, but there's a completely different knife that one can use for cutting objects, like cutting up herbs or anything for that matter during ritual, but it's not this one. The second object that we're going to talk about is the chalice. Now, I don't have a chalice personally. I usually just use like a regular cup, like over there. You could also use your cauldron or really anything else. But a typical chalice kind of looks like a wine glass, like a goblet. And it's typically just meant to hold water or wine, which you will share later on with the divine. And then, the next object is the wand. I also do not have a wand. It's just something that I'm not interested in having in my practice, but it is a very common thing to have. They're most commonly handmade to best represent every witch. But you can definitely buy them handmade if you would like to. And they're most commonly used to direct energy within your circle and when you are casting your circle as well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the pendulum. Or not the pendulum, sorry. The pentacle. This is like a little handmade pentacle that I made. I use it during the Yule season as my tree topper, and during the rest of the year I just kind of use it as a decoration for my room or on my altar if I'm having a ritual. Mine is literally just made out of twigs that I found on the ground, some yarn, and I had originally used like hot glue to like glue these pieces so it wouldn't like move around like this, but it didn't work, so you just kind of have to be careful with it. But you definitely don't have to make yours. I mean, I also wear one. You can also buy like wooden ones or other materials at your metaphysical shop near you. But yeah, and they typically the various points represent different elements. So you have earth, water, sorry, that's not earth, this is spirit up here. And then you would have earth, and then water and fire, and wind. So yeah. Oh, turns out I need to fix mine. I've been flinging around for too long and it just came undone. Oh well, I will fix it. But yeah, and then the next tool that we have is the cauldron. Now I just have this little itty bitty one because they are really expensive. At least the ones near me are really expensive, but you can definitely get bigger ones if you want to. If you can't afford or you don't have access to getting a cauldron, what I was using for like quite a long time was like just like a tin pot for like flowers or whatever that I got from Dollarama. It's getting a little gross looking, but like it did its job. It kept all fire within it. But yeah, they're typically meant for holding water. You can put candles in them, incense, crystals. They're typically used in ritual and spell work that involves burning something, because they are typically made out of cast iron, which is like a fireproof material. But yeah, you can also put water in there and like scry. That's also common. So the next thing we have are candles. Now there's lots and lots of different candles. Like I have lots of candles that are just regular, like Yankee candles. I'm sure some Wiccans would like tell me this was like blasphemy to use this, because it's not considered probably a natural product. But I see no reason why not to use this, especially because candles are often gifted to us, which makes those of us on a budget have a lot easier of a time. In my metaphysical shop near me, they also have these really cheap little candles, see? And I have like one in every single color, so these are just two examples. They are naturally made, I think. There's not a lot to them. I'm pretty sure they're just like your regular candle wax with some light coloring. But yeah, and the only trick with these ones is you also need to buy a candle holder. But yeah, and so you can use different colored candles for different things that you're trying to do. So like if you're doing a money spell, maybe you'll have a green candle lit. If you're doing like a love spell, you could have like a pink candle lit, stuff like that. And different sabbats also have different colors associated with it as well. So you could do different candle colors depending on the colors that correspond with your sabbat. And the last thing that I don't have that I really want is a besom, I believe is how you say it, like a broom. They're typically handcrafted. They're typically beside your altar, not on it, although I'm sure you definitely could put one on your altar if you really would like to. And they're typically used to like sweep away negative energies. But yeah, so those are the big things that I have. Some little things that like are just associated with different elements. You could have like a shell for like to represent the water. You could have feathers to represent the air. You can also use various candles again for fire, and for earth. You can have like lots of different crystals. So here I have amethyst, I have rose quartz, I believe this is green aventurine, I think, and then green obsidian, I believe. But yeah. So that is all for today's vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. I'm going to be making 2 videos a week at least for a little while and see how it goes. So you should definitely keep eye for the next video. I think next we might talk about the Wiccan rede perhaps. So if that's something you're interested, definitely let me know in the comments. Make sure you check out my blog, wiccansartwiccan.com. I also make 2 posts a week there. And make sure you subscribe here so you get notifications when I post. And until next time, blessed be.